Welcome to the Cromford Report. Today we're going to go over two new charts that we just launched within the last month. The first one is our new annual sales chart. Located here, we launched it on July 20th, and also the new listing presentations dashboard that we launched on August 9th. The listing presentation dashboard is still good for your buyers. It just happens to be the three most popular charts that agents use for their listing presentations to help guide their sellers into the competitive environment in which they're going into. So let's get started. Under Tableau Charts, you can see both of these charts. One is here, Listing Presentation Dashboard, and then the second one is here under Sales and Annual. So we'll select Annual to start. And along here, along the right hand side, you can see that these are all your criteria points. The first thing you'll notice is how smooth this is. This is a non-seasonal chart because it is an annual chart, meaning that for your July measurements, that's from July of 2013 to July of 2014. Same thing with June. It's from June of 2013 to June of 2014. This provides us a very smooth trend to see if over year if we're losing sales or if we're declining in a certain market. The next thing you want to know here is that these are your normal traditional sales. These are sellers who do not owe more than their home is worth. They were able to sell it in a normal transaction where they're not dealing with banks and distressed situations. So under here, the light blue, these are your short sales. These are those sellers who owe more than their property is worth, and they are able to sell it with by negotiating with the bank for a lower payoff. Those are your short sales. And then here under red, you've got your bank-owned properties. These are foreclosures on basically conventional financing. And then these are your HUDs. These are foreclosures on government loans, such as FHA. So the first thing you'll notice here is that we have seen a decline actually since 2011 in our annual sales. We had a little bump up in 2013, but since basically the summer of last year, we've seen a pretty regular decline. However, the majority of that decline is almost entirely with the distressed market. So if you look at the years, you can adjust your years and look at just the recent history, say from 2012, 2013, and you can see the gradual decline in annual sales. This is about a 10-month trend here of declining annual sales. However, you'll also notice that your normal sales are quite stable, hanging around that 65,000 mark. So for those of you who have traditional listings, all of the headlines regarding a decline in overall sales probably will not affect your seller. We have the same number of buyers buying normal traditional sales as we had this time last year. We can look at by price range, however, you will see a distinct difference. And say if we look at the lower end, this is your under 100 market. Again, the regular listings are pretty stable, actually declining at a pretty gradual rate. However, your distressed inventory is declining at a rapid rate. If we look at this over the whole the whole decade, you will really see the dramatic influence that the distressed market had on this price range. This is where the majority of our distressed market is under 100,000. In fact, in 2011, 44% of everything that sold was under 100,000 in the MLS. Now only about 10% of everything that's selling is under $100,000. So again, you can see the differences between price points in terms of annual sales. We'll see that again we're seeing the same issue where normal sales are pretty stable, and it's the distressed market that's declining in this price range. If we go to say 2 to 500,000, we see that price range is still actually stable overall, but your normal sellers are selling more. And again, we can look at our pre-luxury or move-up homes, 500 to $1 million, same exact trend. And then we have our over $1 million, and we actually see those increasing. So again, you can come in here and look at specific zip codes So say if we were to look at 85018 over 1 million. You can also take out distressed if you don't want to see that, and get a good idea of where the sales volume is by area. You can also do this by condos only. So if we wanted to look at condo trends over 1 million, non-distressed, then we can also see a nice recovery point there. And again, if we don't want to go through the entire decade, you can just pick from a relevant, maybe go back 10 years. 5 years. You can see that recovery starting. So this is our annual sales rate. When you're ready to print, just select PDF, select Landscape, and export. Open with our Adobe Reader, and now you're able to print this with all of its criteria. When you're done, you just close it out. And now we're going to go over to our listing dashboard. So if we come over here to Tableau Charts again and select our listing presentation dashboard, this is formatted for an 8.5 by 11 sheet. So just click on the link. It'll take a little while to load. The first thing you want to do when this is done loading is to enter in your contact information in the upper left-hand corner. Don't forget to do this, otherwise this text will print. It's also a good idea to spell your name right. So come in here, you can put in your email address, your company, and then come in here and select your criteria. So say for instance you do have a condo listing, you can select all of these charts to do just condos. You have a price range that you can select. You can choose to include UCB listings in your active listing counts or exclude them. Some people do like to include them because UCB is technically active, they're just accepting backup offers. Or if you don't, it's understandable as well because they do have contracts on them. So we have it defaulted to no. You can also choose just to have normal sales and actives in your analysis. And then in here you can select different zip codes. So say for instance you want to do an analysis on the central corridor. We'll come into Phoenix and we're going to find our zip code. So in order to select more than one, you hold down your control key and then you pick your multiple zip codes. Just like that. When you want to make sure that these selected are the only ones that are displayed, you just right click on it and select Keep Only. And now your zip codes are selected. We'll come in here and select a minimum price. Say the price for your particular listing is, say, $500,000 to $600,000. So now this tells your seller this is how many competitors they have, 42 competitors, in those zip codes with listings between $500,000 and $600,000. In the Central Corridor and Arcadia area. This is an increase from this time last year. If we look at August last year, you had about 15 competitors. Towards the end, there's 19. And then today you have 42. That's almost a doubling of the number of competitors, and it's been pretty stable. The highest you've had so far this year is 46, and May has come down a little bit, but they've got a pretty steady competing base. Your sales per month, these 42 active listings are competing for approximately anywhere from, looks like 9 to 13 sales per month. And if you go all the way back to 2011, obviously this price range took a big hit during the downturn. They only had 7. 2012, you had a peak of 12 sales. 2013, the highest you've gotten in the last 4 years is 14 in 1 month. And this year we've actually seen it pretty much stay in that same range. So that's actually not too bad to have 42 listings competing for about 10 sales a month. And then you've got your dollar per square foot. In this particular price range in this area, the average buyer has paid in the last 6 months $212 per square foot. That is down just a little bit from May of $217. But when you look at it long term, it's pretty much stayed very stable since the middle of last year. So while it appears to be moving up, it has not moved up significantly this point. So that's very stable. Now that you've pulled your criteria, you just select PDF, keep it in portrait, select export, download, open with your reader, and now you're ready to print it and take it off onto your listing presentation. So if you have any suggestions for your favorite charts, please do give us a call, Tina Tambor, 480-250-0587, or email me, tina@cromfordreport.com, and we'll come up with some more dashboards for you in your business. Thank you so much for watching.